This week on BuzzFeed Unsolved, we covered
Today on HACAS Unsolved, we'll be diving deeper into the other side of controversy. Today, we'll be focusing on crimes, how one determines guilt, and how those guilty are punished. To do that, we'll start off today's podcast with the case study on Rodney Alcala.
Wait, Rodney Alcala? Isn't that the guy that went on the dating show 10,000 years ago?
Well, not 10,000 years ago, but yeah, that's the guy.
What's so special about him then? Why can't we talk about The Bachelor instead?
Well, did anyone on The Bachelor kill someone?
I mean, they could have and nobody would know.
Well, this guy did. He killed and raped quite a few women, you know. Here's a photo of him.
He's quite alright, he's not that scary.
Just wait till you hear about how he raped and bludgeoned little girls to death. He's quite a gruesome guy.
You know what? Let's just get straight into it. Joining us on this podcast, we have our special guests, Jonathan, Xavier, and Isaiah. Yay! Welcome guys.
In 1968, a motorist in Los Angeles called the police after watching a man lure a girl into his apartment. Upon arriving at the scene, the girl was found dead in the kitchen in a massive pool of blood, raped and beaten with a steel bar. Assuming that the victim had died, the detectives proceeded to search the apartment, but the suspect had already fled the scene, leaving behind many suggestive photos of little girls in his apartment and numerous photo IDs of himself.
So yes, is there more details?
Sure enough, the man identified as Rodney Alcala, a UCLA graduate, but he managed to slip away unnoticed. Upon removing the pole from the little girl, she started gagging and was rushed to the hospital.
Who gagged?
The girl.
I think we see patterns like this in our day-to-day lives, almost quite frequently, you know.
The girl, identified as 8-year-old Tali Shapiro,
Oh my god, 8! That just changes everything!
Where's her mom?
Where's the mom? Nobody knows.
Wait. So it's not the dad, right? It's like a creepy uncle who like picked her up in a van with candy and shit. It's like that kind of situation.
Yes, it's that kind of situation.
Oh man.
and after she healed, her family uprooted and moved to Mexico. Detectives could not find much forensic evidence to find Alcala, coupled with the reputation that Alcala had, a kind, successful student that his professor claims won't hurt a fly. Many could not believe that he was capable of such a crime, and in 1969, Alcala was placed on the FBI Most Wanted list, hoping to find Alcala and get him off the streets.
Wait, so he's in hiding? Okay.
2 years later, the police were notified that Alcala had changed his name and was working as a counselor at an all-girls camp in New Hampshire, where he was subsequently arrested and charged. However, without Tali to testify, Rodney was allowed to plead to the lesser charge of assault, and after 17 months, won parole and was set free. Throughout 1978, many were lured by Alcala on the pretext that he was a budding photographer building his portfolio, and these girls were subsequently assaulted and battered.
Wait, so he was on the FBI list, and then he gets caught, he gets charged for a lesser crime,
Yes.
and now he's off the list, and he continues.
He decides to go around taking big photos of naked girls.
No, but he changed his name though.
What's his new name?
New name, new man. But now he has a hobby.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. Oh yes, John.
Yeah. Yes, Xavier.
Xavier sounds like somebody with the same birthday as you.
Yes, but I don't think we are legally allowed to say his name. I think they will add a censor. I was thinking of saying that earlier, but I don't think we can say his name.
Let's just leave hints.
Okay, fine.
Same birthday.
Same birthday.
Looks the same.
Sorry?
13 September 1978, Alcala resurfaced on the TV show The Dating Game, where he was chosen as the winning bachelor. Here's a short clip.
Our first 3 eligible bachelors for game number 1, and here they are. Good luck, gentlemen. Well, let's see. One is a successful photographer who got his start when his father found him in the dark room at the age of 13, fully developed. Between takes, he might find him skydiving or motorcycling. Please welcome Rodney Alcala. Rod, welcome. And it's time to meet our young lady for game number 1, and here she is. Here is a young lady with a wealth of experience. She once earned a living massaging feet, but she quit when her boss suggested that she work her way up. Then she taught school in Phoenix, Arizona. Now she's here to educate our 3 bachelors in the art of amour. Welcome, if you will, sensational Cheryl Bradshaw. Hello, Cheryl. Don't sit down yet. Just a minute. Want to make sure everything is straight. You relaxed? You feel okay? All right. You know there are 3 bachelors over there. There'll be 1, 2, and 3. Ask them anything you like to find out more about them, except their name, age, occupation, or income, okay? And we're going to start by having them say hello to you and see how they sound. Number 1, would you say hello to Cheryl, please?
We're going to have a great time together, Cheryl.
Okay.
I'm a drama teacher, and I'm going to audition each of you for my private class. Bachelor number 1. You're a dirty old man. Take it.
Oh, come on, over here.
Oh, honey, we ought to go out and boogie.
For a guy who has such a history with battering and assaulting girls, right? He seems to find himself in a lot of situations where he's exposed to a lot of girls.
You know, this...
He was like a counselor in a girls' school. He was a photographer for naked women.
He wasn't in a girls' school, he was in a girls' camp.
Oh,
like,
girls' camp, that makes it even worse to this point. And then now he's in some sort of dating game. They're like saying, you know what? Why not? You have the
And
credentials.
like, people wonder how Americans elected Trump.
Yeah. Well, don't mean to get political here. Just focus on the case.
You know, I got to add some Jonathan commentary to this.
The police were notified of a body of a 12-year-old girl, Robin Samso, in the Los Angeles foothills. Rodney was once again identified and arrested in 1979, sentenced to death. However, because the jury was improperly informed about his criminal past, the verdict was overturned.
So he was set off free?
Yes.
So like everyone watched him on like...
Yeah, what did the 12-year-old girl have to do with the dating game?
Was she on the show?
She was on... There was a dating show for 12-year-olds.
Wait, this is like The Bachelor. This is like a super highly watched show in America. And he was like the winner.
The girl who chose him as like the winning bachelor was like some drama teacher.
Okay.
Wait, I want to watch the scene of him winning The Bachelor if that's a thing. Because this is like the kind of show that has the view count of like keeping up the Kardashians in America.
Oh, it says here, the girl had denied him after the show.
Maybe he was angry.
Yeah. Like they said, like basically they have the choice to still go out after that, and she actually said no.
Oh, damn.
What did he win?
He won, like he got chosen, but he just still chose not to go on a date with him.
That's sad.
Yeah, he was like the best choice there, I guess, but not a good one.
Who chose him?
The girl in the video?
But then she don't want to go out with him.
Yes. You know, it's a weird game. When the options came out, she was probably like, you know what, this was a huge waste of my Friday night. Never doing this again. I need to sit through 2 hours of this, and eventually I need to pick one of them. I'm just gonna pick the one that's the least creepy, which, you know, ironically turned out to be the most.
In February 2010, Rodney Alcala stood trial for the 3rd time on a joint trial accused of murdering 5 women. He elected to act as his own defense attorney. He played the roles of both the interrogator and the witness, asking himself questions, addressing himself as Mr. Alcala in a deeper than normal voice, and then answering them.
Oh, it's like every comedy sketch ever. He's like, so, what do you think about this? Well, to defend myself, no. I'm asking the questions here. Well, if you would just let me, excuse me, and you know, start.
Wait, so does he like sit in the witness, you know, like the pulpit for the witness?
Does he like jump
Or
out in like in and
is
out?
he allowed to walk around on the floor?
I'm guessing he is.
That was crazy. Yeah, I would do that.
It's a court trial in 2010.
Is in 2010?
That's fairly
Yeah, it's pretty
modern.
recent.
Oh,
Wait, that means he's like 40 something at this point or 60 something at this point. So he's spent his entire life moving from LA, which is on like the west coast. He goes to the east coast, New Hampshire, and then he travels right across the country, just having, like, just assaulting different women.
Yes.
he might be a silver
Yes.
fox now for
Yeah.
all we know.
This is a very charming man.
Yes, they normally all are. So ladies, watch out for John.
Evidence presented in court included the following. With the progression of DNA sampling, investigators found that the semen DNA at 2 rape murder scenes matched the DNA of Alcala's, together with another court case in 2004.
Oh, he's done. That's it, right? He has to be convicted this time, right? 100%. There's no way he's getting off free now.
Crime scene photos showed that all the bodies found were posed in carefully chosen positions.
So he like arranged them to like hint at the fact that it was all him.
Yeah.
Oh, that's his calling card. Body
But they don't know.
arrangements.
They don't know that he did it.
A pair of earrings found at Alcala's Seattle storage locker had the residue that matched the DNA of one of his victims. To contest the evidence against him, Alcala claimed that he was at Knott's Berry's farm, applying for a job as a photographer at the time where Robin Samso was kidnapped. Alcala also showed the jury a portion of his 1978 appearance on The Dating Game as an attempt to prove that the earrings found in his Seattle locker were not Robin Samso's but Jed Mills, the actor who competed against Alcala on the show, and told a reporter that the earrings were just not a socially acceptable accessory for men back in 1978.
So
I'm
wait,
not-
he was
saying no.
so he tried to defend it by saying he was wearing those earrings in the show.
Or that he had the look where wearing ear they would work.
Well, I mean, clearly he's a charming man, Maybe.
Yeah, I'm sure he can pull off any look.
Yeah.
As part of his closing argument, he played the Alo Guthrie song, Alice's Restaurant, in which the protagonist tells a psychiatrist that he wants to kill.
Alright, Xavier, you have to sing it now.
Okay. All right. If this ever goes up on court, I would like to say I was goated into it. And I went up there. I said, "Shrink, I wanna kill. I wanna kill. Kill, I wanna see blood and gore and guts and veins in my teeth. Eat dead, burned bodies. What? I mean, kill. And I started jumping up and down, yelling, kill, and
After all this evidence, links and parallels drawn between Alcala's tendencies and the facts of the case, is Alcala guilty of the crimes? But what exactly is guilt, and how is it determined? Criminal law defines being guilty as having been responsible for an act that offends a law on the books. The accused can plead guilty and admit the crimes that he has been charged with, and agrees with the charges that the prosecution brought upon him. But why would anybody want to plead guilty? Well, pleading guilty is viewed as an indication of remorse, and is a mitigating factor when the judge considers the punishment to be meted out to the accused. This means that pleading guilty can help to lower the punishment received for committing the offence. But if he believes that the prosecution does not have enough evidence for him to be convicted of the offences that he has been charged with, he can choose to plead not guilty. The judge may find him innocent and acquit him of the charge.
How exactly is guilt determined then? Singapore's criminal law is largely statutory in nature and can be traced to the exhaustive Penal Code. The Penal Code sets out to explain what constitutes each of the offences listed in its 24 chapters and the minimum as well as the maximum punishment for the same. The Penal Code was originally based on the Indian law. This was changed and replaced by the Criminal Procedural Code, which is based on the law pertaining to the criminal procedures in England. On the other hand, the US does things a little differently from most countries. Their criminal justice system is not represented by a single all-encompassing institution. Rather, it is a network of criminal justice systems at the state, federal, and special jurisdictional levels, such as military courts, territorial courts, and so on. The federal criminal justice systems handles cases that are national in scope, such as treason, espionage, assassination of top governmental officials, among others. Meanwhile, state criminal justice systems handle crimes that have taken place in the state. The same process goes for the criminal justice systems within special jurisdictions.
We will now dive into how the criminal adversary system works. There are major structural features. Facts are proven dialectically through a complex process of persuasion. Dramatic contest is aimed at shaping two mutually inconsistent interpretations of common data. There are two sides, the prosecution and the defense. Both parties act through attorneys who control and manage the presentation of evidence, which are materials from which the facts are constructed. Both sides are ethically committed to winning the debate more than any other goal, and this includes the discovery of the truth or fairness to the opposing sides. A decision maker, in the case of the US, the jury, of non-legally trained common persons, will then assess the stories presented to it and assign criminal liability. The judge will then award the appropriate punishment.
What is the purpose of punishment then? In criminal law, there are 5 main functions: deterrence, incapacitation, rehabilitation, retribution, and restitution. Deterrence prevents future crimes by frightening the defendant or the public. Individual deterrence prevents an individual defendant from committing another crime because of fear of a similar or worse punishment. General deterrence applies to the public at large, inspiring deep fear of criminal prosecution when an individual defendant is severely punished by a life sentence or the death penalty. Incapacitation prevents future crimes by removing the defendant from society. This can be done through incarceration, house arrest, or execution. Rehabilitation prevents future crimes by altering a defendant's behavior through educational and vocational programs, treatment center placements, and counseling. This lowers the load on jails and prisons while lowering reoffending. Retribution prevents future crimes by removing the desire for personal avengement against the defendant, as satisfaction is achieved when the defendant is adequately punished. This too enhances faith in law enforcement and the government. Restitution prevents future crimes by punishing the defendant financially through payment for the victim's harm and represents a civil litigation damages award. Crime punishment can be carried through capital punishment, imprisonment, caning, fines, probation, disqualification from driving. However, in Singapore, there are 2 community-based services so that punishment will better fit the offence. The offenders will be ordered to do some community-based work or report at a reporting centre regularly for supervision or counselling. A more lenient sentence would mean that there are lesser adversary effects on the family members and their jobs that jail or fines will bring about.
Next, let's talk about the controversy surrounding punishment. Firstly, the debate surrounding capital punishment mainly revolves around the argument on the sanctity of life. Those in support of capital punishment believe it deters crimes, and more often than not believe that certain crimes eliminate one's right to life. Those who oppose capital punishment believe, first and foremost, that any person, including the government, has no right to take away a life for any reason. They often believe that living with one's crimes is a worse punishment than dying for them, and that the threat of capital punishment will not deter a person from committing a crime. They also believe that the risk of executing an innocent person is too high. Rape culture in prison is also another controversial topic when it comes to criminal punishment. Let's watch a short video about prison rape.
When I was 12 years old, I got into a food fight. They charged me with assault, and I got 3 years for that. I was on a 9-day observation in the California Youth Authority reception, and within that 90-day period, I was raped by a young person, 16 years old. After you make those allegations of rape, they're going to keep you locked up by yourself. I was written up for being raped. I was raped multiple times in 24 years. I would have to say more than 5 times. I was subjected to a lot of solitary confinement. I got used to solitary confinement. Pelican Bay, oh my gosh. 4 walls, the shower comes to you. It's a portable shower. You never come out of your cell till you have a yard. Now the yard is indoors. The yard is not outdoors. So I don't know why they say yard. That they give you a little ball that you can throw around, and that's it. And then after your probably 45 minutes to an hour, back into your cell. It was so horrible that I felt such a deep depression that even though I had to go to the bathroom, I didn't want to get up. You know, you have people that are going through mental anguish. You have people that are LGBTQ that are hurting. And when they're victimized, and then you place them in solitary confinement, what you're doing essentially is throwing away the key. You're throwing away the key to their well-being. And if you're not strong, they can end up taking their lives, killing themselves. And that's what's so hateful about the system.
In the United States, an estimated 140,000 inmates have been raped when incarcerated. Research has shown that juveniles when incarcerated with adults are 5 times more likely to report being victims of sexual assault than used in juvenile facilities. And the suicide rate of juveniles in adult jails is 7.7 times higher than that of in juvenile detention centers.
Furthermore, jail conditions are pretty well known for not being in the best conditions for living. So let's watch a video on a prison in Manila.
This is a performance being staged for us at the Quezon City Jail in the Philippines capital, Manila. We've been invited here to take a look at some of the exercises that this very overcrowded detention center performs every day with its inmates. It's built to house around 800 people. There are more than 4,000 incarcerated here awaiting trial. Take a look. Now we're going to take a look at the conditions that the inmates here are living in. So, sir, this is one of the cells? Yeah. Come on in here. Excuse me, sorry. There's barely room to walk here. Take a look at these incredibly crowded conditions. 85 adult males sleeping in this small room. Tuberculosis is in this jail facility. There's a separate tuberculosis ward where there are more than 70 patients currently living in isolation. This jail is so crowded that the guards tell me every single step is used as a place to sleep. Hard to believe this jail is now accepting as many as 30 new prisoners a day. That's because the Philippines' new president, Rodrigo Duterte, launched a deadly war on drugs. Since its start a month and a half ago, police have arrested more than 9,200 suspects. Almost all of the hundreds of additional detainees brought here in the last 7 weeks are facing drug charges. As we're leaving, I want to finish with one astounding statistic. At any one time, there are only 20 guards between the outside gate and the interior that are on duty for a population of more than 4,000 detainees. Ivan Watson, CNN, reporting from the Quezon City Jail in Manila.
As pointed out by the reporter in the video, there are only 20 prison guards for almost 4,000 inmates in a prison built for only 800 people. So imagine 70 to 80 people crammed into one tiny cell. Especially during these COVID times, you will only need one person to be infected with COVID-19 before the entire prison population too gets infected. Well, prisons in America too face a similar problem during these times of a pandemic. The coronavirus is spreading quickly in American jails and prisons where social distancing is impossible and sanitizer is widely banned. And this prompts authorities across the country to release thousands of inmates in recent weeks to try and slow the infection, save lives, and preserve medical resources. Inmates in New York are also tasked to make and produce alcohol-based hand sanitizer to offset the steep prices of hand sanitizers. Yet, the use of this labor force is especially problematic in this case, as the prisoners themselves are banned from using these sanitizers, as it's considered a contraband due to the high alcohol volume. Reports have described the sanitary conditions at the jail as poor, and detainees clean the units themselves. The hand soap that these detainees are given is watered down. But there are also other prisons that don't fit the narrative that media often tells us. Some prisons in the UK, Ireland, India, and a few other countries adopt open prisons, where prisons look something like this, where the only thing that separates them from the outside world is a fence. Here is what one inmate who faces imprisonment for drug dealing has to say. Inmates in this prison earn $8 an hour, they have cell phones, they do their grocery shopping in town, and they get 3 days of vacation every couple of months. They pay rent to the prison, and they also can choose to study for a university degree in town instead of working. And they'll get a subsidy for it. They sometimes also take supervised camping and fishing trips. It won't be hard to escape this prison. On the other hand, prisons in the US are mostly privatized, and this gives rise to the Prison Industrial Complex, or the PIC for short. It describes the attribution of the rapid expansion of the US inmate population to the political influence of private prison companies and businesses that supply goods and services to government prison agencies for profits. The federal prison industry is a wholly owned US government corporation, created in 1934 as a prison labor program for inmates within the Federal Bureau of Prisons. It is a component of the Department of Justice. From 1970 to 2005, the number of inmates increased by 700% as state spending on prisons increased. As of 2015, 91,300 state inmates and 26,000 federal inmates are housed in private prisons.
And I went up there, I said, shrink, I wanna kill. I wanna kill.
Just don't swear.
Kill, I wanna.
You just
I
censor
wanna
me.
see,
Just
I wanna see.
yeah, you know.
Blood and guts and veins in my teeth.
Jonathan left.
Eat dead burn bodies. What? I mean, kill. And I started jumping up and down, yelling, kill. And he started jumping up and down with me, and we were both jumping up and down, yelling. Oh, okay, the lyrics are gone. Kill,